This afternoon we were planning on going after old One Eye, but the forecast that we looked at two different wind forecasts, the hourly forecasts. One was southwest to west to northwest. The other one was south, southeast to west to northwest. And then, I don't know, one of them had north in there too. So obviously it wasn't going to work. It's not worth taking a chance when you've got winds that are changing that much to go after one of your targets. So we're going to go in and sit in a blind this evening in a spot that historically it's been a really good spot. I've seen and killed a lot of good bucks back here. I haven't had a buck on camera this year back in here that I wanted to hunt, but that's not to say that a surprise buck couldn't pop out. I mean, if I was going to pick a spot for a surprise buck, this would be one of them, because there's plenty of food back here. This has been, like I said, historically a really good spot. So that's what we're going to do this evening. Not cutting our losses for sure. It's still a good hunt, but it would have been fun to go after that one-eyed buck. So we're going to grab our stuff and head back to the blind. It's kind of fun to just kick back and not have any real agenda. Just relax and see what comes out this evening. Got about 45 minutes left, maybe a little bit more than that. And there is a doe and two fawns that are working their way in from the north. And I shot two does here the last time I was in here, but I would be tempted, if she gives me a good shot, to try to take this doe. We had a small buck and a bunch of turkeys out in front earlier, but that's been it so far. The wind, it kind of, like I said earlier, is kind of kicking around different directions. We're not even 100% sure what direction it's blowing right now. We think it's coming from the west and taking our scent out the back. But that's the beauty of being in the blind rather than in a tree, that even with the swirling wind, you can get away with, a little bit more. You don't have to have everything perfect because you can keep the windows closed. Hopefully we'll have a buck pop out here. There's plenty of food. This is a big and beastie patch, and there's a lot of it left. So there should be more deer popping out here, I would think, before the evening's over. Holy crap, yep it is. Say it again. That's that same buck from last year. We called him Bruiser in the Beans last year, so I think those brows are unbelievable. That's a good hit, wasn't it? Oh gosh.
Hang on 1 second. Okay.
We were talking about a surprise buck, and this would be the spot for him, and that was a surprise buck. Wow. What a deer. That thing is awesome. The brows on that thing had to have been 8 or 10 inches long. Oh man, I'm shaking now. I don't shake very often, but we had a pretty good standoff there. I think Drake is shaking too. That standoff lasted about 5 minutes, about 20 yards away. Whew, I think the hit was good. I think that deer's dead. We'll try to gain a little composure here and then go over and take a look at him. But man, what a deer. Whew, baby. This is where he was kind of stumbling around, right?
Mm-hmm. He ran straight through this trail.
Oh, there he is right there. Oh gosh, look at that thing. Oh, 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 oh. Look at the size of that thing. Oh, oh man. That thing is unbelievable. It's unbelievably muddy, or bloody too, but look at that thing. Look at that beam. That beam has got to be 28 inches long. Look at that thing. That was the surprise buck. We'll mark that one down. If anybody ever says, what is a surprise buck? We'll have a picture of this deer, because wow, what a deer. Look at that thing. We had no idea that he was back here. Like I said, I knew of this deer from the year before, but we saw him sometime in like around the 8th or 9th or 10th or whatever it was of November. We never saw him again, never got any more pictures of him. I didn't have any pictures of him this year leading up to now, but there he lays. Golly. What that one, whew, that beam, I'm telling you, I'm not sure I've ever killed a deer that had a main beam longer than that. Sticks out clear to the end of his nose. Look at that. It does. It's like way out over his nose, and then it even curls up. This was one of the bucks that I have a little bit of history with this deer from last year, but not very much. And that's what makes him such a surprise and what makes this hunt so much fun. I think there's something about just getting lucky and killing a deer that you didn't really know was there that is so appealing. I mean, I think I have more fun shooting this deer under these circumstances than if I'd been hunting him all season long, just because you get so wrapped up in the deer and you kind of lose, sight of just the enjoyment of being out there. I mean, we were enjoying an evening in the blind, hanging out. The wind was wrong for the spot we wanted to go to, so we ended up here. This was, our second choice of spots where we were going to hunt tonight, and we ended up coming out of there with this buck. I mean, it's unbelievable. This deer, again, just going back to the deer itself, he was a really good deer last year, and I knew I didn't want to shoot him last year. But I'm just glad that I caught up with him this year because I didn't think he was still on the farm. I ran cameras in all these spots, for 3 weeks or so, 2 weeks at least, with no sign of this deer. And I was specifically looking for him as a carryover from last year. So I figured he was gone. But when he popped out, and Drake saw him along the edge of the field there, and he said, "There's a really big buck." Right away I recognized him from that frame as that same deer. So it's pretty cool, really cool, to have that much luck fall right into your lap. And I think it evens out over time. We get to feeling sorry for ourselves sometimes, when we have a bad year or a bad shot or something like that. But then, as long as you stick with it and keep doing your best, eventually luck swings back around your way, and it definitely swung back around my way tonight. I mean, what an awesome deer. I mean, he's everything you could possibly want. His brows too, ridiculous. Look at that one. We think that's probably close to 10 inches long. And then who knows how long that beam is on that left side. And it goes all the way out to the end of his nose and then curls up. Really, really cool buck. So I'm humbled and I'm blessed to be able to hunt deer like this on a farm like this. Dang, it's going to be hard to top this one. We've got some season left, but I'm going to be kind of riding the adrenaline from this hunt for a really long time. So I appreciate, all of the viewers that have, stuck with us over the years watching Midwest Whitetail, and it's just fun to just see it go from, some pretty lean years to, now lucking into a really good deer.